In the late 90s, after the success of the Twisted Metal series, the car combat genre was still surprisingly sparse despite its popularity. That is, until Activision stepped in with developer Luxoflux to fill the void. Luxoflux was a small team of just 5 developers and at the time had yet to even create a video game, but they intended to come out swinging. The game was Vigilante 8, and it was a spin-off of another Activision car combat title called Interstate 76 that was a Windows exclusive. It was ported to the Nintendo 64 in March of 1999, but it made its debut almost a year earlier on the PlayStation, and that's the version I grew up with, as well as the version we'll be taking a look at here today.
Holy shit!
Vigilante 8, blow shit up.
The game takes place in 1975 during the oil crisis in America. The Oil Monopoly Alliance regime has recruited the services of Sid Burns and his team of hitmen called the Coyotes to help aid the destruction of the U.S. The Coyotes come equipped with freshly stolen weapons from the ultra-secret military base Site 4 located in Nevada. The Vigilantes, led by a trucker named Convoy, aren't going to take this laying down. They fight back in hopes to preserve order in these otherwise lawless times. The story seems a little much for a simple car combat game, but at least it differs quite a bit from its main competitor as far as story goes. The chaos plays out over 6 states located in the southwestern portion of the United States. Unlike Twisted Metal, most levels are pretty rural, like a ghost town, farmland, oil field, etc. We'll get more into the levels in a bit. Since the game takes place in the mid-70s, the vehicles are a bit limited in variety, but you will see your stereotypical 70s rides here, like giant sedans, panel vans, muscle cars, and even a gremlin knockoff called a Leprechaun. Some of the standouts include a full-size school bus as well as a UFO. Some vehicles will need to be unlocked by completing the game's story mode or by using cheat codes. However, with 13 total vehicles to choose from, there should be something for everybody here. Upon starting a game, you'll notice a control layout almost identical to the Twisted Metal series. I guess if it worked so well for them, right? You'll accelerate with X, brake with square, and look behind with triangle. Your shoulder buttons are for your weapons. L1 and R1 both cycle through your inventory, while L2 fires your selected weapon and R2 is your machine gun. Machine guns come standard on every vehicle, but every other weapon will need to be picked up throughout each stage, so you'll usually start out by loading up instead of diving right into a battle. Some weapons are clearly displayed while others come in mystery crates with question marks on them. Each character is also given a unique special weapon, and I have to say, this is one of my favorite parts of the game. You can tell they've really put some time and thought into each attack. Other pickups include a health pickup in the form of a wrench, green diamonds that give you a temporary shield, and a yellow zigzag that throws off enemy homing weapons. And this is actually pretty handy, as a lot of the weapons in the game are homing. Now let's get back to those levels I was talking about. Like I said, these stages are pretty rural for the most part, but that doesn't mean they aren't great, because they really are. Almost everything you come across can be destroyed, and there are plenty of interactive activities throughout the levels. You can ride the cable car in the ski resort level, which is a nice way to escape from enemy attack when you're down on your health. You can launch a super high-powered missile from the secret military base level, and as you can see, this thing packs quite the punch. You can even ride the blimp in Casino City, but watch out because your enemies can and will shoot this thing down, at which point you'll probably go flying through the air like a bottle rocket. And these are just a few of the interactive aspects of these levels, something that really helps add to the replay value of the game. Now, I love when these kinds of games get chaotic, but I have to say this one can suffer from some pretty serious slowdown in certain situations, usually when there's too many vehicles on screen at the same time. Now, this can be prevented by selecting less AI vehicles. In fact, enemy selection is completely up to the player during a single-player match, including the number of opponents. So, if you want to have 12 of the same vehicle, go ahead and knock your socks off. The game features combo moves called whammies. To successfully perform a whammy, you have to hit your opponent with a combination of weapons, or you can also use certain special attacks rapidly to pull off whammies. It won't happen all the time, but you will occasionally pull one off without even trying. There are also other button combos to pull off miscellaneous moves, like pressing up 3 times followed by machine gun to use a turbo. Now, this will use 2 of your missiles to do so use it sparingly. The music is what you'd expect from a game based in the 70s, which means there is some disco. Some people won't mind it, but if it bothers you, don't worry, because you can listen to whatever you want. Simply open up your PlayStation while playing in a level, take the game disc out, pop in your favorite CD, and select the tracks from the pause menu. This was already a great game to me when I was in my early teens, but when I discovered this, it was over. I used to pop in a disc and play this for hours. For those who don't want to play through the story mode for unlockables, or if you just want to have a little fun, there are plenty of cheats in Vigilante 8. Everything from invincibility and all vehicles to fun features like low gravity, big wheels, and slow motion. And if you do want to play through the game's story mode, otherwise known as Quest, you'll see that this is where the game really differs from Twisted Metal. Instead of your main focus being on defeating all of your opponents, there are certain objectives that need to be met to complete each stage. If you select any of the Vigilantes, you'll be responsible for protecting a certain point of a level from enemy damage. And if you decide to be bad and select one of the Coyotes, you'll be on the other side of the script, and your job will be to destroy a certain part of a level. There's also an option to play through the quest mode in 2-player co-op mode. Each player has a unique ending, and though they are a little bit on the short side, I've always liked the cutscenes in this game. And speaking of multiplayer modes, this is where the game was very popular, and even more so on the Nintendo 64, where you're not limited to just 2 players. I'll admit that I am partial to Twisted Metal. It's the series that I grew up with, and V8 was a little late to the party, but this game is definitely right up there. I mean, if Twisted Metal is a perfect 10 to me, this game is a 9.5. I've had a lot of good times with this one, and I'm still surprised to this day that it only spawned 1 sequel. If you even remotely enjoy car combat, you absolutely need to pick this one up.